Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the OSU World Cup 2025. We've got our second Group C match for today between Chile and Spain. We saw these two teams face off last year in round of 32. Chile took that one 5-2, but Spain are looking better than ever, and they are here for their revenge. I'm iFlame, joined today by the one and only Dada. How are you feeling about this matchup?
I'm very excited. I think this group is a group that before the last match was a little bit like up in the air. Now things have cleared up. I think Spain, in order to maintain themselves in this group, they need to get a good showing here and establish themselves as a momentum in this match, because their matches against France and Italy will both be very tough. And I think, despite Chile being the favorite, Spain do have a way in, so to speak. So hopefully this ends up being a competitive match.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be. And every point helps. It's an incredibly competitive group. As you mentioned, we just saw France play Italy, and that ended up being a 5-0 sweep for France. So if Spain wants to take that second spot over France, they're going to have to put up a really good showing. Of course, Chile, being the highest seed in this group, are the favorites to make it out. Let's talk about these rosters quickly while we get into pick bans. On the side of Chile, you've got your two star players, Intercambing and Alfiu. Intercambing was 11th individual, put up a really good performance in the qualifiers. And they do have a couple new players as well, in Hanayume, Lasse, and Sifs, but largely they are keeping their core. For Spain, I mean, they're a team that has placed in the 25 to 32 range 4 years in a row now. But seeding 20th, it's been their best year yet, and so many new players on this team. Escrupulilo and Aleph are going to be their two key players. They are two of the three returning players, but otherwise, Spain have 5 new players, and clearly these roster changes are working out for them. I mean, talking about pick bans here, I do think, Dada, this is a pretty tough matchup for Spain stylistically. Because there's a lot of overlap between these two teams' skill sets. For example, Spain in the qualifiers really struggled HR, a mod that was weaker for Chile as well, but Chile had a pretty big advantage on the hard rocks overall. Then, the hiddens were solid for Spain, but Chile is one of the best hidden teams in the tournament, getting 6th on the hidden 1, 3rd on the hidden 2. And that makes it really tough for Spain to find good picks here, but they did have some strong showings on things like the No Mod 2 and the DT3. So I think that is where they're going to be looking first. But in terms of bans, I think there are a lot of options for both teams. Spain banning free mod 1, not necessarily the ban I was expecting. That's going to be your kind of aim control free mod.
Yeah, it's gonna be that kind of like tech-ish circle tech aim control free mod. I think in Spain's defense, that kind of map archetype in qualifiers it didn't do particularly well on compared to Chile. And obviously on this map you're gonna end up having to take a hard rock mod as well, which is it's probably top 2 maybe difficulty wise in the pool as a map on hard rock on that. But yeah, Chile is just gonna look to do their staple stuff. I think they have a really strong hidden lineup this year, as you said, and they're gonna be banning DC2 to try and not get speed abuse. But oh, I just got Discord moved. Okay.
Can you go back though?
Okay. Anyway, the Chile lineup is kind of interesting this year because they're missing very key players that you might recognize from previous OWCs. They were missing Mathy and they're missing Suntan. And despite that, they still performed very admirably in qualifiers, only getting 1 seed below their performance last year, I believe, or like 3 seeds, something interesting like that. Like, it's very close to their performance last year. Meanwhile, Spain is missing Antonio, and that's also pretty big, but they outperformed. They overperformed their seeding last year by a pretty decent margin as well, so it shows that this roster is not to be underestimated. Their first pick for Chile here is going to be Hidden 1, which is no surprise. Obviously, this is one of the more the trickier maps in the pool in terms of just how many skill sets it tests, and Chile having a really strong hidden lineup in intercamming number 37, Alfeu, like, it was a very good hidden lineup, and there's no surprise that they upped to go for that first.
Yeah, so I would not be surprised at all to see Chile just abusing hidden as much as possible. And then once they're done with the hidden pool, they can go right into those hard rocks, even though it's not necessarily their preferred mod, just because Spain struggled with it so much in qualifiers that seems like the obvious direction. And I think Intercambin, Alfeu, Scrupullo, and Aleph, we're going to be seeing those four players in for pretty much every single map. But number 37 has looked really good on the hiddens for Chile as well. And Sifs, one of their new players, getting a chance to shine here.
Yeah, interesting just to getting the first map to get one of your rookies out. Maybe to build some confidence, maybe to just get the nerves out of the way, who knows? But meanwhile, on the side of Spain, you have maybe Skilla, Scupulio, Aleph. Scupulio and Aleph, especially going to be names we're going to be seeing all throughout this match, I believe. And then
Yeah,
Palodex rounding out that roster.
Yeah, Sifs, I think for Chile is primarily here to be a mechanics player on some of these snow mod and hidden maps as well. So going to be rounding out their roster on a lot of these tech picks. But as we get into the first map, a very quick reminder to, if you want to show some support for your favorite teams, you can go get country banners in the Osu shop. And if your team wins the World Cup, you'll get to keep your banner for the rest of the year. Nobody misses on the first pattern. This map starts off relatively slowly, and it's a bit of an easier first half before it really picks up in the second half of the map. So we're going to have to keep an eye out for these early misses. Chile has a slight lead for now just based off that accuracy, but it's going to be number 37 finding the first miss. So Spain should be able to bring this score lead back over.
Kind of a rough start for Chile here. One of their main hidden people finding this early break, but Spain still behind on the act, especially Palodex on that 95, kind of delaying this overtake and score lead. But everything seems to be stabilized. Nobody really finding any breaks thus far.
Yeah, but the hardest part of the map still yet to come. We've got a bit more of a stream-focused section coming after this. Looks like there's a bigger miss from Palodex now. Going to be 600 combo behind, and that score lead should flip back over for Chile almost immediately, but Alfeu trades it back, and Spain will be able to hold on to this lead, but we'll see which team can hold on in this upcoming stream section. Palodex gets another slider break. Does need to find sub recovery, but keep an eye on these full combos. It is 3 for Spain, make that 2 for Spain as Baby Silla does find a miss before this tough section. 2 for Chile, but number 37 has a really good recovery that should bring this edge back over in favor of Chile.
And so far, both intercamming and Sifs, no, never mind, not intercamming anymore, as the lead will scoot over to Spain if stuff stays as it is. As Aleph and Escupulio both having a great time on this map. Might mean Spain gets the first break point here.
Yeah, it's going back over slowly though. A big miss from Sis now. That shoots the scoreboard to the left in favor of Spain, and with Aleph and Escupulio still holding strong, it looks like we are going to be getting a break point for Spain on Chile's very first pick. Not the result I think a lot of people expected, and Chile, they can be beaten on some of these hidden picks. Spain, I think they're going to have so much confidence going into their second pick.
Not what you want if you're a Chile fan here. Just no FCs on a map that probably you thought you were very confident on beforehand. Number 37, unfortunate slider break at the start was the only real, like, stumble on that play, but it ended up just unfortunate for Chile here, as Spain just establishes themselves in the match very early on. A little bit unexpected here.
Yeah, definitely. You have to feel like Chile probably low-rolled a couple of those scores. I have to assume between number 37 and Intercambing. I would imagine they've got a few FCs between them in practice, but that's kind of how the stage matches go, whether it's nerves or just getting a little bit unlucky with your run. All it takes is one miss to make the difference. Now, it is up to Spain to find the pick. I think potential good options for them could be things like Glass, that DT3, or they looked incredibly good on the qualifiers Nomad 2, sorry. They were actually 4th overall. It was incredibly impressive. And so we could see them opt for the Nomad 2 once again.
I think if you're looking at the No Macho qualifiers, I think you're mostly looking at the Free Macho in this pool. So that might be an option as well. The only problem is that they have to run a hard rock there, which makes it substantially tougher. But yeah, they just got some really important momentum in this match. I think Spain is not gonna have like too many picks, but just getting one of Chile's picks means they can probably get to 4 points, like fairly straightforward. No Machu would actually be the option here, so the faster option between the two choose as the Funya map gets picked. Unfortunately, we'll not be able to show the storyboard, but those who know.
It is such a cool storyboard. But yeah, I think the tapping 2s are generally going to be pretty good for Spain. Obviously DT, Nomad, and Fremod. But since that DT2 is banned out by Chile, they're going to have to settle for the other 2 tapping 2s, you could say. But I do really like this pick from Spain. They've looked pretty solid on tapping generally. And especially with the ban from Chile, a pretty good indicator they don't feel super comfortable on these tapping maps. We should see some of the speed players coming in for both these teams. I guess we're going to see Townie for Spain, along with Marble, 2 of their faster players, and we're going to be seeing Lasse in for Chile potentially.
Yeah, I mean, the other big rookie this year, Hanayume being brought up for this particular map. Meanwhile, Spain is benching the player in Marble slot.
Escapulio?
No, not Escapulio.
Oh,
He's probably gonna.
It was Paladex in that slot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a little surprised actually to not see Chalk Gamer in for Chile, who's usually one of their go-to speed players. Maybe just isn't available. Maybe he's popping into the lobby now in favor of Hanayume. Only time will tell. But this is a very short map, so accuracy does make a big difference. We could see some pretty big accuracy drops. We do see some good luck have funs in the chat, but we need a second player for Chile, and it is going to be... I mean, Decore is not a player for Chile, so we're going to need to see some roster switches here, Dot, as...
repatriation in the middle of the game. Okay, interesting strategy.
It looks like it will just be Hanayume in the end. So, with those rosters sorted, we are going to be getting into Spain's first pick, but potentially their second point if all goes well. This map, definitely a bit of a stamina test. And there are some tricky patterns as well at the start of this map once you get past that first quarter, which should be relatively free for everybody.
We shall see. A couple of early act drops from Alfie. Most people, because Lasse as well, having pretty easy early time. Hanayume and Escapulio both finding the early break, so still things are pretty much equal.
Yeah, that early miss isn't going to make too much of a difference. There's a lot of combo to be had on this map. We have seen some very good scores on this map, so it's certainly not impossible that we're going to see a couple FCs, but Intercambing finds a big drop. That's not the play to expect to miss on a map like this when they do still have Alfiu and Lasse holding strong, but they're fending off 4 really strong combos on the side of Spain. Spain find themselves with an early 70,000 point lead. On a map like this one, 70,000 points is not that much, a couple of misses and that could go back over. But Spain are going to be really happy with this buffer. Now we go into a slider tech section. Arguably, this is slightly easier than some of the tapping sections, but there is still a lot of miss potential here.
So far, Spain has been looking very, very solid in this pick. Only that early miss from Escapulio is really affecting their score in any meaningful way. Still holding. All acts are pretty solid as well. 97 at the lowest. Meanwhile, the early misses from Intercambing and Hanayume not doing Chile a lot of favors as they both look at each other's scores in the break. The map does get tougher from here on out, but maybe a couple nerves are going to be creeping into the minds of a lot of these players. We'll see.
Yeah, Spain are far from out of the woods here. Chile still have 2 FCs. Hanayume is only 100 combo behind, and Cambion has a really strong recovery. So if we see 1, maybe 2 misses from Spain, the score could go back over really quickly, but the miss comes through for Chile instead. It is Lasse finding the miss. And with that, Spain are looking good to close this one out. 250,000 points should be relatively safe unless we see a complete meltdown, but this is a tricky ending. There is a lot of potential, missed potential, but I think Chile, unfortunately, are out of time. Spain will consolidate that break point with a few more misses from Lasse, and they're going to be up 2-0.
I mean, you start the match, you lose your first point, you're down 2-0 on a best of 9. It looks scary, it looks a little bit demoralizing. Now Chile just has to dig in and find a pick that they're very, very comfortable on, get those early match nerves out of the way, and try to establish their own footing in the match. But so far, if you're a Spain fan, very, very good. Good, great tidings even for these very solid showings. People are consistent, people are not missing, getting decent accuracies. And Chile has been kind of stepping their own feet a little bit. But for the sake of a good match, I hope they get back into it.
Yeah, they certainly have, and they've not quite found that consistency that's required in the group stage. I feel like on so many of these group stage maps, you're going to need at least 1 or 2 FCs, especially in these higher seeded groups. We're going to get no mod 5 from Chile. Slightly surprised to see them not going for the Hidden 2 or the Hard Rock 2, but this is still Precision CS 7.4 kind of snap alt focus map, and so this makes a lot of sense as well. I think Precision was Spain's worst skill set by a pretty wide margin. They were 39th in the qualifiers, so not sure this is a foregone conclusion, but Chile should be the pretty heavy favorites going into this map, and I think this is a good pick to get themselves at least 1 point on the board.
I mean, yeah, in theory, but since you've been struggling to kind of get started, like the nerves are still getting to you, Precision is gonna exponentially increase those nerves and the actual consequences of those nerves. Because CS 7.4, not a joke. If you're shaking, very much not a joke. So hopefully Chile's reading of the situation is better than, or like surpasses the potential downsides of them being a little bit nervous to start off the match.
Townie going to be making their first appearance and going to be making their OWC debut. Is the go-to hard rock player for Spain, which means kind of generally the go-to precision player as well. But looks like we've got the roster sorted out properly this time around, and you can see outside of Cambion and Alfeu, Chile is really going to these their new players quite a bit, and I mean it's not worked out for them yet, but I think they've got a good chance on this pick.
You know who I kind of miss? That has never played OWC in my in my memory at least. Spain has a really good precision player named Mortal. And that guy's like legitimately nuts at hyper precision. So he would be perfect for a map like this. Obviously he's not in the lineup this year, but would be very interesting. Very underrated player, that guy.
Yeah, feels like that would have gone a long way for Spain's precision abilities. This is another incredibly short map, and there's really not that much combo to be built. Already we see 2 misses from Spain right at the start. Those are early enough, they shouldn't make too much of a difference. But already I think the comfort level is pretty clear from these accuracies. Baby Scylla down at 92. Spain, the entirety of Spain, has already dropped their combo at least once. On the side of Chile, we've only seen 1 combo drop from Hanayume, but they're still 3 FC strong. A quarter of the way into the map, they're already up by 100,000 points.
No tenemos ningún FC, as Spain has no more FCs remaining. Meanwhile, 3 people out of 4 on Chile, only Hanayume having that little miss there. But looking very good early on for this Chile squad, especially considering the map is so short. You're already basically halfway through, and the lead is just widening and widening. So
we do see a couple misses there coming out from Chile. One of those had already dropped, so even though Chile are down to 2 FCs, this one is going to go back over because Spain has really good recoveries. You know, despite having no FCs, they're back up to 400, 500 combo. And this score lead, if they can hold chip left back over, but this is a really tricky ending of the map. It's Hanayume missing again. The score lead flips back over to Spain. We do see a miss now out of Junamat, gonna slow the bleeding for Chile. A second miss from Spain, and the combo is gonna be pretty much dead even. These two big combos on both sides need to hold on, but Alfeu finds the next miss. Now it's only Intercam being trying to fend off Spain, and if these two FCs hold, or not FCs, two high combos hold for Spain, they could take a second break point. There goes Intercam as well, and Spain are gonna do it again on the precision pick.
What a disaster! You have three FCs and then you fall over on your chair.
I mean, a disaster for Chile and a disaster for Pick'ems all around. I don't know how many people had Spain winning this match, and especially not being up 3-0 to start the match. Not only are you up 3-0, but Spain has the next pick, Dada. They could go for that free mod 2 stream pick if they want to go back into tapping that skill set that they were so absurdly dominant on in the qualifiers, and something that Chile are decent on, but certainly not incredible. And Spain could very well find themselves on match point.
Guys, this is no longer an upset. I legitimately feel Spain is just out-muscling Chile.
They're playing so well. And I mean,
Downey,
Downey, yeah,
great
player.
early choke. Obviously, like, not an FC, but extremely good play. And their recovery combos were just really enough. Chile just ended up missing, especially on the beeps part. I don't really know how to describe that, but the censored part, I guess, of the song. Just had a lot of misses, and the scramble afterwards just ended up favoring Spain, and Spain just a dominant 3-0 showing right now. They only need 2 more maps.
Absolutely. I mean, Downey clearly not feeling those OWC debut nerves. I think Fremont 2 at this point seems the most likely pick for Spain. The Nomad 1 could be an interesting pick as well, because a Nomad 1 is just a consistency aim map, and those are the kind of maps that tend to be, yes, slightly RNG in these group stages, but they just come down to one nervousness or miss, and Chile's finding those all over. So if you want to try and take advantage of those nerves, Nomad 1 could be a solid pick.
Beep boop. I flame you have
I've roboted.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just saying.
It's okay. Like, it's okay. We'll play your song, Mr. Krabs.
Thank you, Dada.
Pretty much you. No surprises here. We went from a stream speed map to a stream flowy map, which Spain performed very admirably on in qualifiers, and this is it. I mean, you open up a 4-0 lead, that's statistically wraps. Like, the match is basically mentally over at that point. But this is coming into this match. I believe this was Spain's. At least I personally believe that this was Spain's priority pick. It ended up being Nomad 2, but they're very similar maps, and I think these are the 2 maps that I saw Spain having a genuine advantage on. And especially now, when Chile's momentum is really, really stifled, I think Spain is probably like heavy favorites on this map, which, again, 4-0, not very good. Not conducive to a win, usually. So,
it's definitely not. Still waiting for the stats on how many reverse sweeps we've had in OWC. I'm guessing not many, but I would agree based on what we've seen so far. Spain do seem like the very heavy favorites on this map. Curious to see if we have overmods, like, you know, a player like Intercamping could definitely take something like the Hidden Hard Rock on a map like this, but has not been the most consistent so far on this pool, and so that would be an extra risk that I'm not sure they feel is necessary. I think because this is definitely a bit of a flow aim test, it does make the hidden actually reasonably difficult. But, you know, number 37, very strong hidden player, pretty likely to be taking that mod. It's going to be the case. Last sight on the Hard Rock, and then for Spain, it's going to be Aleph hidden, and we do see a hidden Hard Rock, just not on the player I expected. It's Baby Scylla taking it.
I believe Baby Scylla is a little bit of a hidden preference player, not like 100% uptime on hidden, but he generally prefers hidden on a lot of these maps, so this will be the case here as he just overmods a little bit, just as a comfort thing. But, well, Intercamping and Townie trading off early breaks on both Nomads, which is a little bit worrisome. The Nomads are supposed to be most of the consistent combos in this map. Just not having quite the best start. Meanwhile, we have pretty good accuracies from the other Nomad players, both Alphew and Marbles holding pretty solid accuracies. Townie as well. The miss, obviously, a little bit. Oh, okay. Lasse just finding a couple chain misses on the Hard Rock. Meanwhile, Baby Skill is still holding. Townie, however, will find some trade breaks of his own. However, that player did not have an FC, so it's still 3 FCs to 2, I believe, as Intercam being found an early break as well. So advantage Spain as we head into the break.
Yeah, Chile definitely still have some really good combos. They're ready to capitalize. If we see a couple more misses from Spain in this map, it gets really tricky into the ending, especially for these Hard Rock players. Lasse has already dropped, but Spain need Baby Stella to hold here. For now, we're yet to see any more misses. There goes that hidden Hard Rock FC as well as Marble. So now it's just Aleph holding for Spain. That score lead flips over, and with 3 FCs strong, 2 of those on their Nomad players, Chile looked like they might finally end up with their first point. But number 37 does find a miss. Spain is not out of this one quite yet.
The last note!
That is so unlucky. There's some tougher space patterns here. Lasse really struggling on this Hard Rock. Understandably, it's a tough map, but Spain need Aleph to FC, and they need one of Alfie or Intercambing to miss at least. It is really good recovery combo on Townie, keeping things at pretty stable, 100,000 point difference, but Spain are just running out of time.
They are, and the recovery combos from Intercambing, I guess he didn't even miss. I guess he just has equal combo to Alfie, so 2 FCs for the side of Chile, as they will find their first point of the match, and it's a break point on Spain's pick here of Fremont Jew.
Yep. This is exactly what Chile needs to get back in this match. 1 breakpoint recovered. They do still need to recover a second breakpoint, of course, at some point, but this is going to be a nice start for them. Get a little bit of confidence back after those first 3 picks, and with their own next pick, I think, you know, their first 2 picks haven't worked out. I really, as I've been saying, I would love to see the Hidden 2 or the Hard Rock 2 from them. Probably the Hidden 2 first, seeing as they were third on it in qualifiers and have such strong hidden reading players, and they're not going to waste any time. We are getting Hidden 2, our ARH density reading map. Lots of overlap reading, some flow aim as well. But I do expect number 37 to be a monster on this map. Had the top score in qualifiers on the Hidden 2. And a fun fact, playing in OWC this year makes number 37 the longest tenured player on Chile, with it's his 7th year.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was that long lasting. Obviously, when you see a lot of tourney map hidden leaderboards, he's up there in most of them. Guy is just a hidden prodigy. Not even prodigy at this point, he's a hidden unk, I guess. But obviously, I think getting to the mind of a captain, you start off the picks with Hidden 1, you lose it, so you're like, okay, let's not pick Hidden back-to-back just in case we're actually not having a good Hidden day. So let's instead pick Nomad 5, lost that one. Okay, let's go back to the Hidden well. And obviously this time they actually have some sort of positive momentum getting that breakpoint, so... Now the match is interesting because assuming things go as normal, it's gonna end up 3-2, and 3-2 is a toss-up scoreline. So we'll see. I don't think Spain is particularly well versed in low AR hidden, but no, obviously there's still this map, and then there's Chocolate Disco. Two foods. I'm sorry. But yeah, there's Chocolate Disco as well, still remaining in the pool if they do well on this. So there's a pathway back for Chile, but there's obviously still that overwhelming early score lead that Spain got. So it's an interesting match as we get into Coconut Love Hidden Chew. Take it away, iFlame.
This one, at least on paper, heavily favors Chile, but that's certainly not stopped Spain from taking a couple points already in this match. Paladex and Marble are kind of their go-to low AR players for this pill. But I think, if I remember correctly, the struggle for Spain on these low AR maps is that They're a little bit fourth playered, but this is, I would say, a little bit more manageable of an HD2 compared to the qualifiers. Of course, it's a much easier pool. And I mean, it's a little bit accessible for even non-HD2 mains, and maybe Spain can work with that and find some points. They've looked incredibly consistent, and they are definitely holding their own early on. Outside of that early miss from Junamat, it's been pretty consistent across the board. But Chile still holding those 4 FCs as well. We do see 3 misses on that pattern, 2 of them from Spain, 1 from number 37, our former number 1 HD2 player. But Endercambion follows it up with a miss as well. So it's just going to be 2 FCs traded on either side. And now it's going to be Sif's Altheu up against Marble and Aleph.
2 more misses coming from Endercambion and their 37. Not really the players you would expect to miss on a map like this. Very big name brand players for Chile. But Aleph and Marble still holding strong. Altheu will find a break to the beat. We'll scoot over to Spain's side. As still it's 2 FCs to 1, Sipes being the only FC for Chile, and he needs to hold if Chile wants to have any shot at actually confirming their pick here.
Yeah, I mean, this feels like a really important point for Chile. We do see a miss from Paladex, but that wasn't one of the important combos. I mean, Chile, they finally get a point on the board. It's a break point, which is massive, and they're potentially giving one back. It's only 11,000 points, though. With a quarter of the map to go, this one could go either way, but it's Spain with a pretty big combo advantage. I think it's just the accuracy holding them back ever so slightly now. It's another miss from Junamat, not their key combos, but with not much support for Aleph and Marble, the score is staying relatively close, so that if one of these FCs falls off, yeah, it's something. Oh, that's a big drop for Chile, and all of a sudden Spain, they get that breakpoint right back. Chile not able to consolidate, and oh, there is a big miss from Marble, though. Aleph as well. It's now Altheu potentially bringing this one back. Tagada is their time. It's misses from the other 3 players on Chile. And the score lead, it's just not dropping quickly enough. I think Spain should have this one secured. Oh, Marble Banchoed? Okay, no wonder.
Yeah. I love when Bancho just decides to get, like, to push a narrative for, like, 5 seconds.
Bancho, it knows how to keep things interesting sometimes.
Yeah.
But Spain is on match point. Chile, this is the map they were 3rd overall on in, or I apologize, 4th overall, I think. Or no, it was 3rd overall in the qualifiers. And Spain takes the point, and they've got the next pick. They're going to go for Nomon 3. They think, hey, yes, Chile is a good low AR team, but if we did it once, we can do it again. I think this is a bold pick from Spain, but I respect their confidence.
we just took a low AR pick, and then let's go even lower. Let's go even more gimmicky, so to speak, and let's just build on that momentum. And yeah, Spain is looking very scary here. This is very much on upset alert as Spain finds itself on match point. And Chocolate Disco being the map to close it off potentially would be very interesting. Not really the skill set you expected Spain to lean into, but a welcome surprise, development of the match. They just figured, oh, okay, apparently we're the better gimmick team in this particular matchup. Let's exploit it. So, I mean, if you're a Chile fan, you're just wondering, oh my god, my team has not been looking consistent. Now they're gonna have to play a map that's like almost 4 minutes long, 4 stars, that you can miss on like air a lot of the time by just like either misreading or having a little missnap, because a lot of those like small snappy patterns are a little bit tricky. So like, it's not looking good. This is very much a consistency and focus check, and Chile are not looking very consistent or very focused at this point.
No, it's not, especially because the rosters are going to be the exact same. Both players have their go-to redeem rosters. Now, to be fair to Chile, it was still a pretty close map. I think they only lost it by about 100,000 points. So, you know, if they find a slightly later miss on any of their players, they definitely could have won that one, which is why I don't think this is a guaranteed point for Spain by any means. I mean, going into this one, I would have guessed Chile were the heavy favorites on a map like this, but the match so far has proven otherwise. We've seen an early miss from Junamat, but with how long this map is, there's going to be plenty of time to bring this one back. The one thing I will say for Spain is that I feel like you could have picked something else and let Chile potentially pick this. It's not a guarantee that they would pick it, but If they don't, you can just pick it one map later, and no harm, no foul. But we'll see how this one goes. Early on, not so great, as they've found 2 misses now. I've got 2 SCs up against 4, so we're going to have to see them recover further on in the map.
Just in general, Elif and Dunamat not really having the best of starts. Alfhew finding a reading miss on one of those stacks is going to equalize it a little bit, but still overall advantage to Chile. Marble finding a miss on, well, right now a part that actually matters, traded by No37. So still 2 FCs to 1, a couple of good recovery combos for Spain, as Elif and Dunamat seem to get a little bit more accustomed to the map. As we get to the first guy, Marble finding an early break in that first guy will not help Spain's case. And everybody on Chile mostly solid. Elif will find a break, so one of those recovery combos is gone. Halodex the only FC, not on the best of accuracies, maybe indicating a little bit of a more cheesy combo strategy. Meanwhile, you have Intercamping and Scythes, both on above 98, so far so good for those, but the tale has been this kind of lead gets established, and then there's just a big car crash that happens somewhere in the middle of the map, and Chile is the victims of said car crash mostly. So nothing is defined just yet. Alfhew and Dunamat will be trading. Still, mostly the status quo is intact.
Yeah, but we've seen already one Ki, Intercamping, Sifs, and Peladex all survive the first one. And there are a couple more Ki's, of course, but they're not any more difficult. The map is pretty consistent in terms of difficulty, and so there goes Peladex, unfortunately, right at the start of the first Ki. And Chile are going to be absolutely running away with this one. Intercamping and Sifs absolutely flying on this pick. This is more the kind of thing we expected from Team Chile coming into this match. 2 players looking really good on the rating, and I do think this was potentially a little bit of an over-eager pick from Spain, as 500,000 points, even with a minute left in the map, is just a little bit too much to come back from.
This power decks, again, it is just kind of insurmountable at this point, and maybe a little bit of a misstep, a little bit of overconfidence coming from Spain, and you know, as said the great philosopher Wayne June, overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer, and maybe Spain is exposing their backs a little bit too much to that knife-wielding maniac. So let's see if Chile can get back into this match. Obviously, another break point. Their only points so far have been break points. Maybe just don't pick and skip their pick.
There you go. I mean, they could run out the timer, and well, actually, then it wouldn't be a Spain pick either. It would just be a random pick. So, unfortunately, Chile are going to be forced to pick him up, Dada. That's a little bit unlucky, but that is a pretty dominant performance from Chile. Kind of getting back to form on that map, but now they've got to do it a couple more times. They need to win their own pick, and then they're going to need to win Spain's pick. They've not won their own pick yet, but I do feel like, at least based on initial expectations coming to this match, like they do have some potentially strong maps left in this pool. I believe that Hidden 1 is still open, something you generally expect to be good for them. We could see them go back towards one of those free mods. I don't know if they really want to play free mod 3 necessarily. Okay, and it looks like HD1 was picked, so maybe we see a Hard Rock 2 here coming out from Chile, or the No Mod 4 could be solid for them as well.
I think they're looking at this and looking at No Mod 4, Hard Rock 2, or DT3. Yeah. I don't think they want to risk any of the consistency in maps, which just so happen to be the rest of the poll, really. A little bit of a side note on Hard Rock 1, having a couple of more interesting patterns, but last time we tried something that was like mostly normal but with interesting patterns, it was Hidden 1, and they obviously lost that. So obviously most of the audience speaks Spanish, considering they're usually rooting for their country, but yes, this miss was Thanos, and then Aishit missed, and then like it's funny to translate because it just sounds sillier in not Spanish, but yeah, like very very interesting chat. Obviously, these 2 countries very tied together in language and history. So, No Mod 4 being picked here.
Yeah, Overdose. What do you think of this map, Dada?
I think this map is an interesting map in the sense that it looks very easy and then it plays very hard. If you're just like casually watching this map as a tech map enjoyer, you're like, wow, this map looks quite simple. It looks the star rating, it looks 5.8, and then you play it as actually like 6.5, 6.6. Like it's deceptively hard. And so a couple of the misses might seem like they're misses on air, but they're actually fairly normal misses over the course of the map. But I think Chile, this was one of their best picks, I think.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just a quick side note, every time I've said that, they've lost, so...
Oh. Well, once again, you know, I'm going to keep an eye on Intercambing and Alfeu on this No Mod 4. They were 8th and 11th individually on the qualifiers No Mod 4. And while this one is slightly different, obviously a lot easier, it's still one of the tougher maps in the pool, and it is a similar skill set. You can't really cheese the sliders in this map either, so you do have to be really proficient at the slider tech skill in order to put up a really good score on this map.
I mean, honestly, after the ways the picks have gone, I'm not even like working out who has the better lineup in theory. I'm just along for the ride, man.
Initial pre-match expectations have been thrown out the window, so who knows what to expect on this No Mod 4. If you're a Chile fan, hopefully expecting some really solid scores from Intercambing and Alfeu, because Spain still on match point. Chile can't really afford any more mistakes. This is an incredibly short map as well, so these early misses are going to make a big difference, but there's a little bit of a spike a third of the way into the map with a more bursty section that could be a pretty big breaking point for some of these players. We'll see if that catches anyone out, but it's going to be Intercambing, Alfeu, Sifs, and Lasse looking to keep Chile in this match, and Decory, I believe, making their OWC debut along with Palodex, Alaf, and Escrupulilo, trying to close this one out for Spain. We do see an early miss from Palodex, going to be the only one. It is a relatively easy start to the map compared to how difficult the rest of the map is, so at least for now we should see most players holding onto their combos, but once we get about a third of the way in, the map definitely starts to pick up in difficulty. Early on though, we see another miss from Intercambing, who's found quite a few early misses in this match. Sis is going to follow it up, and once again on Chile's pick, Spain find themselves in the lead early on. Aleph will trade that miss back, so the score lead should stabilize, as it's now 2 FCs to 2. That supporting combo from Palodex is doing a lot of work for Spain.
It's the ACK though. Escrupulilo on the 93, Palodex on the 96. Like, the ACK is not letting Spain actually go and just take this map away. Chile is mostly staying in their shadow here, but Lasse also with a 94, not really letting them catch up either. So as everyone comes into the break, everyone's going to see each other's scores unless they have the anti-nerves skinning enabled. I don't even know if that works anymore, but it's roughly 100k of lead to Spain. It's still very much comebackable, but obviously this is where we see the real breaks. Escrupulilo finding that break very early on in the second KI, not being traded, so the lead is going over to Chile if nothing changes.
Yeah, looking really strong to start this guy. Decory as well, that's a big one. Spain do have 2 big combos, but Chile have 4 at the moment, 2 of those being full combos. Spain have about 1.5 full combos for them, so Chile, they're going to explode into the lead. That's 100,000 in favor of them, and they've gotten through the worst of that Ki. They've kind of nailed the hardest part of the map, and so this section is just a little bit easier. I mean, there's one more tricky section right at the very end, but the damage have been done. Chile survives at least 1 map longer, and Spain are going to have to go back to their own pick to try and close this one out. They have 1 more chance to do so, and if they can't close it out there, we are going to be heading to a tiebreaker.
I said when the lead of the match was basically established that we had an upset alert. Now it honestly feels like an upset of an upset alert. Like, Chile was looking very, very not like themselves, just so to speak, in at the start of their match, but and Spain was looking very dominant. Now it's a little bit of the opposite. I think this momentum is kind of eroded for Spain, and Chile just got a little bit of confidence back, and they're actually just getting good platoon scores. Alfiu, Lasse, getting those FCs. Lasse with a little bit of the lower AC intercamming. Bad early break, maybe not expected, but also a pretty good recovery combo. And yeah, Chile now has one map that they need to actually take in order to get to this tiebreaker, this Destin Victorica here, which would be our first tiebreaker of the tournament, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
And,
it would be.
well, Spain, do you go free mod 3? Do you go no mod 1? Do you go DT 1 potentially? We shall see.
Yeah, honestly, I think to me, could see, I think, DT3 or No Mod 1 potentially for these two teams. I think Spain had a really good showing on the qualifiers Alt DT map, but they're kind of different styles of Alt DT, with the qualifiers one being, you know, your old style, I think probably like 2010 type of map. And so it is a little bit different. I don't know if Spain feel as comfortable on this one. And then there's the no mod one that I feel like most teams tend to avoid in these early stages. I'm not sure if no mod one has been picked at all yet. Maybe once or twice, at least not in the matches I've commentated. And it is just going to be that DT3. I think this pick makes a lot of sense for Spain, but there's just not many maps left in the pool. You don't have any guaranteed options anymore. And Chile are not a bad DT roster at all. They have some very strong alt players. I think we could definitely see Lasse in for this one as well, who did really well on the alt DT. Number 37, I'm curious to see if we see number 37 in, who tends to play these alt style DTs, but hasn't looked. And Chalk Gamer has arrived. I was wondering when we would see Chalk Gamer, who I'm honestly, yeah.
I think this is the first match where I genuinely see a game of the aim maps or lava being
Yeah,
played. No no mod 1, no hard rock 1, no DT 1, no free mod alt aim free mod 3. So legitimately no aim being played in this match. Nobody wanted to move their cursors today, which interesting, but apparently it was to Spain's favor. Meanwhile, we're gonna be heading into this more alt, like small, like flowy, a little bit snappy pattern map in glass, which I don't really understand if it favors anybody. Like, obviously, I could look at qualifier results for something like DT3 there, but those are very different kinds of maps. I feel like the not only the AR, but the ways they're mapped, the size of chains. It's just honestly, it's a 50-50. You either win this map and go to tiebreaker, or you lose this map and don't go to tiebreaker for Chile. And in Spain's case, it's 50-50. You either win this map in the match and bragging rights forever, or you lose this map and then risk it on tiebreaker. Every single one of your team is very, very nervous because they had a 4-1 lead.
Yep. Certainly could be the case here. I'm a little surprised we haven't seen Shot Gamer on a few more maps. Usually plays some of the more tech-focused as well as the faster maps, so potentially just became available. But we've got Townie in for Spain. I believe he's only played one other map and pulled out an FC on the precision pick, so certainly had a good showing so far. We'll see if Townie can put up a similar performance for Spain on glass, this DT3 alt pick. And this is another pretty short map. We've got 2 minutes and 7 seconds before we find out whether it will be getting our first tiebreaker of OWC 2025. All the players, there's quite a few rookies in this matchup on both sides, Paladex, Townie, and Hanayume. They could be feeling the nerves on this one, so I'll have to keep an eye on that as we get into DT3.
iFlame. I'm sorry. I just didn't expect the deciding map to be Chinese.
Yeah, I can't say that I
Shock
do.
Gamer will find an early break. Not the best of accuracies to start with. Still, someone like Townie also not having the best of accuracies to start with, but A little bit of that combo advantage. Meanwhile, Alfie and Hanayumi still in a pretty good accuracies. Meanwhile, instead of Spain, Escupulio and Paladex for a change. Never mind, as both Aleph and Paladex miss, and the lead will be scooting right over to Chile as they still maintain that 3FC lead. Chalk Gamer will have traded, but so far so good for Chile as they look to establish an early lead here. Nobody getting caught up on a couple of those triples.
Yeah, accuracy has balanced out a little bit. Spain are definitely a couple accuracy percentage behind, which is going to keep this one in Chile's favor. There's a big miss from Paladex, so that's going to hurt Spain a fair bit. They do still have their 2 FCs, but Chile are not finding those misses back. About 3/4 of the way into the map, there's an absolutely brutal ult pattern that could catch out a lot of those remaining full combos. There goes Townie as well. That's an FC down, traded by Alfew, but Chile still have 3 big combos to work with. And they're up by 300,000.
That's their final FC.
And with that, Dot, I think we're getting the first tiebreaker of OWC 2025. Chile have now won 4 points in a row, and they are on the verge of completing the first reverse sweep since at least 2021.
Not quite a reverse sweep. They did have a 3-1.
Oh, you're right.
That ended up being a 4-1, but
not quite.
Very, very interesting way that this match has played out. Spain just I was going to say something that I'm not allowed to say. Spain is having a very good start, really establishing themselves, and then Chile just kind of recovering and playing from behind. Not really how anyone expected this match to go, I believe, if you asked them before it started, but very dominant showing here on Spain's last pick will make it so that Chile's 3 out of 4 map wins come on breakpoints, which interesting indeed.
Yeah, what's really nice about the tiebreaker for both of these teams is that whichever team loses between Chile and Spain, you're still going to have 4 points to your name. So it's only going to be a -1 differential, whereas the other team that has lost the match in this group, Italy, is currently at -5. So when it comes to tiebreakers, it's going to put the losing team in a really good spot if it comes down to that. But Dada, you mentioned before that last map how both teams have been pretty much avoiding aim as much as possible. Well, we have ourselves an aim stream consistency tiebreaker. So we're not really seeing the aim all that much, but this is a 6-minute consistency pick. Chile definitely struggled heavily with the consistency early on, especially. They've recovered pretty well into the last couple picks, but going back to a pure kind of aim stream consistency map where the patterns are relatively comfortable for a lot of these players, and it's just going to come down to nerves for the most part. We'll have to see Chile kind of... We're going to need to see a much stronger performance than we did at the start of this match.
How beautifully ironic that you spend a whole match avoiding aim maps to end up having to play an aim map forced on you by the scoreline. How interesting indeed, as Destined Victorica, a map that doesn't really let up ever. Very flow aim and snap aim intensive, having cross-screen jumps or extended jump sections, as well as some streams, some more like D&B style flowing bursts being very prevalent on the map itself. And honestly, I do a prediction based on who won what, but again, while Spain did win the flowing maps, this is not quite the same.
And one player that I'm going to be interested to watch is Escupulio, who looked incredibly good on the Nomad 1 aim map from qualifiers, was 5th overall on the map, but more just an interesting statistic than something that I think will actually translate to the tiebreaker, since they are quite different maps. And so I think both teams are going to be relying on their kind of core 2 players. Historically, for Chile, that's been Intercan being Alfew, and for Spain, Escupulio and Aleph. But you know, the kind of supporting players on both teams have put up some really strong scores. We've seen strong scores from Sifs, Lasse, as well as Scylla and Marble when the time has called for it. So it does feel like anybody could step up on this Nomad 1, and because of how long the map is, There's a fair bit of, there's some solo carry potential. If we see one person on either team pop off and put up an FC on this tiebreaker, the odds are very good that you're going to be winning the tiebreaker. So here we go. It's going to be
This map,
intercamping. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
this map is like 3,000 combo. Like,
Yeah.
it's too much. It's too much of the map is combo. Like, don't even hype people for getting over 1,000 combo. Maybe over 2,000, but like, there's just so much combo. People breaking on like 1,000 would just be normal.
Yeah, I think seeing players at around that 1,000 combo mark should be the expectation. If we see anyone kind of struggling to get 1,000 combo, it's not going to be a super good showing on the tiebreaker at Hazard, especially because these are two of the stronger teams in the group stage, Chile and Spain. Alfeu is going to be the first one to find a miss, and it is late enough into the map that it will make some difference. Right now, it's just a slight accuracy lead for Chile, but on a map like this, you really don't expect accuracy to matter all that much because of how long the map is, and on these consistency maps, rarely do you see more than 1% accuracy difference. We see the first chain misses coming through for Marble and Sifs. That means it's going to be 2 SCs to 3 in favor of Chile, as Sifs follows up with yet another miss. It's the first tricky section of the map, and it's playing quite a few combos, but the other players are looking so incredibly comfortable. Intercamping on a 99.74% accuracy, looking so good. Aleph still on the 100%, but there goes another FC down for Spain as Baby Scylla finds a miss right at the end of that GI.
Kind of the tale of two very different hidden preference players. Scythe's not really getting into the map as of yet, a little bit uncomfortable, still missing a couple times. Lassie will find a break, so it's only intercamping for the side of Chile. Meanwhile, Baby Scylla just finding an unfortunate break at 99.7. So very much in the groove, just unfortunate for him. But both his Leo and Aleph, the real, like, the bread and butter of this Spain lineup, just still putting in work as they both reach over 1,000 combo right now. Meanwhile, Alfeu on the recovery combo for Chile and intercamping still on that FC. It looks like Sipes, as his TapX stream player is kind of doing on this map. It has recovered Lassie as well. Marble will find another break, so a little bit of a combo disadvantage to Spain if they have one of those big combos missed.
Oh,
and Aleph does!
Yeah, dropping the really high combo there. A couple chain misses. That's a brutal section, and all combos are gone for Spain Dada. And guess who? It is the core 2 players from Chile, intercamping on the FC. Alfeu not far behind. That score lead is going to flip over in an instant, and we know how much combo there is left in the map. Intercamping and Alfeu are going to have a chance to run away with this one, especially because it's a slightly easier section for the next maybe 30 seconds. And Chile are just going to start running with this. Alfeu misses on nothing. Thankfully for Chile, they do still have intercamping holding, but that could have been an absolute disaster for them, and it's certainly not going to help. But unless we see a miss from intercamping, Spain might just be out of this one. We do still have a lot of map left to go, and it could come down to the recovery combos as Sifs now finds the miss. So Spain can at least keep things a little bit close, but intercamping approaching 2,000 combo now is absolutely running away with this one. And we've got a pretty tricky stream section coming up.
If you're Chilean, I think you want intercamping to hold until you have about a 150k lead. But Spain, most of the recovery combos haven't really tripped up ever since that first kind of Ki, I guess. I would say chorus section, but this song has like 50% chorus, so who knows. But yeah, Lassie also having a pretty decent recovery combo with 800 of his own. But intercamping being the story of this map so far, as basically the only, like, quote-unquote break in the map is here, where you get a little bit of time to readjust your grip on these very small space sliders. And Chile does look to be building that lead up to 150, 200k, as that would be kind of the safe zone. But Aleph and Leo, both over 1,000.
Yeah, we do have the toughest part of the map still to come up. It's coming up shortly, and so there is potential for intercamping to find a miss here, but it also means that it is going to be tricky for these players on Spain to hold on to these combos.
Ooh, intercamping!
That's the miss they needed. It's traded back by Marble, but it's 3 1k combos for Spain. There goes Sifs as well. Spain, they're going to bring this score lead back, but it's going over incredibly slowly.
There
it's
goes
a miss from Chile. Alfeu desperately needs to hold, because if Alfeu misses here, this could absolutely go back over. as the combos are massive from Spain. They should have enough time if all of them hold. The ending of this map data, there's not much to it. It's relatively easy. The question now is, do they have enough time?
I mean, they do if everybody holds, but will they? That's the real question. Outfield will break as well! No more combos for Chile as 3 1,000 combos are maintained for Spain as they get this lead just completely erased, as they will take the lead right now. Baby Skillo will miss. However, the all-caps duo of Aleph and Escrupilio will get that lead back towards Spain. Oh my god, iFlame.
What an incredible first tiebreaker 2025, and a pretty major upset as well coming through. Spain, they're the 3rd seed in this group, taking out Chile, that top seed, who were the heavy favorites in most people's predictions. That is going to put Chile at 0-1. Spain are going to be the second 1-0 team alongside France in this group, and so that matchup between Spain versus France is going to be an absolute banger. But what a performance from Escrupililo and Aleph to close this one out. Chile not going to be able to complete the comeback, and now with this, with Spain winning this one, that I feel like this group has just gotten 10 times more interesting.
It really has.
And I am going to move things along quickly because it is already time for the next match. So very quickly, we will say huge congratulations to Spain. Chile almost had the comeback, but just couldn't quite get there on the tiebreaker. We are going to switch over to Brazil versus Sweden momentarily, as that match is happening right now. And that Brazil-Sweden group is such a hotly contested one. So that is going to do it. I've been iFlame, joined by Data. You guys are going to get 2 new casters for your next match, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back very shortly with Brazil, Sweden.
Bye-bye.